Hi, this is Jill, and you're listening to Traveling with SHOWCO. So buckle up.
Doug and Jill on the open road. SHOWCO's packed and the tank's full load. Haunted whispers in the wine-stained air. Roadside shadows, do we dare? Travels with SHOWCO through the night. Ghostly vineyards.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Wasn't that great? I love our openings. They're so full of such good stuff out there. So, yes, welcome back to another great episode of Traveling with SHOWCO. And you know what? This is one of our last times we're going up to Indiana for now. We were contracted to go up there for to do 10 different times. There are Expecting the Unexpected class. And we just completed our 10th time. And we went to 5 different parts of Indiana this time, and it was just great. We were all over the place. And this last time I wanted to make sure I did a road trip up there, and we saw some cool sights. So I'll tell you about those in a few minutes. But it's really a big thanks to the Indiana State 901 Board for contracting us to come up there and do 10 times our class. We met so many cool people, over 200 dispatchers. It was just great to kind of put that class on and give everybody a lot of stuff to take back to their comm centers and say, you know what, maybe we haven't thought about that. What would we do if that happened? Or how would we handle that kind of a call? Or what's our protocol even say about this thing? Does it? If it doesn't, what are we going to do about it? So we have to kind of consider these things. That's why that class has become so popular in the past, because it offers a lot of suggestions and a lot of questions to take back with you and a lot of resources. And I talk to people about how to use those resources that are sitting right in front of you. So if you were in one of those 10 classes, you know how we do that. Right after lunch, we do an exercise about using all available resources, and it works so wonderfully. So I do it every time, and it works great every single time I do it. So kind of a nice thing. But yeah, it was a great time, and I'm so glad that Laurel and Vicky, the hosts up there, Laurel from the Indiana State Board and Vicky from InDigital, were at every single class we put on, and they fed everybody. They had caterers come in, and this last time we had a lady, and my goodness, this was like your grandma cooking. I mean, she was like this 80-something-year-old lady who was she's a caterer, but she was making everything by hand. She made fried chicken. She grew all the vegetables that were available. It was just unbelievable. And she made these big brownies. It was just great. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, so she did 2 days of that. Well, actually, the second day she didn't do chicken. She did some kind of pasta, like I forget what kind it is, a rigatoni kind of thing. And it was really good, though. It was like, holy cow. I wanted to bring her around and just have her go with me every time I teach a class, because she's got such good food out there. I was like, my God, this is the way it should be in every place. And if you're one of those people out there that host classes, think to yourself, do you do that kind of thing? Have you figured out how to do it? We had Laurel and Vicky on our podcast, We Speak Dispatch, to talk about that and the importance of that stuff. That's free training for all dispatchers in Indiana to come to the class. They pay for everything and they feed you. It's like, I wish more states did that, because it's so important to get people out of their comm center, get them to come and work with other people and see different perspectives and different ways to do things, and get to know everybody else that's in our same business. We're all in the same darn business out there. So let me tell you, so we went to we were going to have the class at this Jasper County Fairgrounds in Indiana. And when I first drove up to Indiana, besides the fact it was raining like a freaking dog up there, so I was like, really? Do we have to have this kind of heavy rain? And I was getting lightning warnings on my phone, and I'm like, oh goodness, this is going to be good. But luckily it stopped right before I got up to where I was going to exit the freeway. And I went over to the Jasper County Fairgrounds, and it looked, like a fairgrounds. And I saw the community center. I couldn't go in there yet. It was still locked up. But it looked, if you look at the pictures I put up on my Facebook page and stuff, you'll see the picture of this green community center. Looked fine to me, whatever. And I left there and I went to go find my hotel and some other landmark stuff, which we'll talk about in a second. But while I was driving somewhere else, I get a text from Laurel, and you'll see the text if you go to our thing. I'll actually put it up on the screen here. And it said, it was a picture of a fire truck sitting in front of the community center. And it said, don't worry, everything's okay. And I'm like, oh God, did the place catch fire? Are we going to have to do this class in the parking lot in our trunk or something out there? I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm trying to think of ways to do this. I'm like, holy cow, if there was a fire there, that's not going to be good. So then it turns out that when they went inside the place on the day before we were teaching, they realized there's no equipment. There's no screen, there's no projector, there's nothing. And so Laura calls me and says, "What do you need?" And I'm like, "Well, the only thing I really need is either a big TV or a projector, and that's it. I got everything else. I got sound and I got connections to everything, so I'm good." So she says, "Okay, we're going to try to figure this thing out. We'll get back to you." So then I talked to her and she said that they contacted the local sheriff's department, who said, "Yeah, we train there a lot and we have to bring our own stuff. So we'll come and bring it all down there." So she said that when they said they bring it all down there, like several patrol cars showed up with stuff, and the fire truck showed up carrying a bunch of stuff too, because they had ladders they could reach up and put this big screen up. And if you look at the pictures of the class, you can see the screens being held up there to the very top of this building. It's a huge building. So kind of a unique thing. I do a lot of training around the country, and I've done some pretty interesting places and some pretty places that are a little sketch. But this one looked a little sketch, but everything worked great. The sheriff's department came and made sure everything was working just fine. I just plugged in basically and went right to business. So it was great. And the classes were really big. The first one was 53, I think, and the second one was 38 or something like that. So it was a lot of people in these classes, which was great. And the place was fun. I mean, everybody kind of was close enough to where they had to mingle with each other, and I encourage that kind of networking stuff all the time with these things. So I did talk about that with everybody and said, you gotta really, network with everybody. I mean, for God's sakes, you're here and you might never meet these people again. So it's like it's important to kind of see that stuff. So that was kind of the class, which was great. That went really well. Both days went great. Everybody was just participating like crazy, and I was real. Sometimes you go to class and people are just sort of like sitting there like, I ain't gonna say nothing. That wasn't the case this time. So people were very much involved, and it was just great because I would be asking, "What about this?" And they'd say, "Oh, I heard about something like that," or whatever. And it was like the involvement of everybody was just great. So a real perfect way to end 10 times of teaching that class in Indiana. So hopefully I'll be teaching it in other states around the country. And if you want to host that class, just contact us and we'll tell you how to get it, because that class is really filled with all kinds of good stuff. So, and a lot of things you probably never thought of. A lot of things you probably said to yourself, I never really thought about that. Is that the way that works? Yeah, it does. So when I left there that afternoon before we did the class the day before, I thought, well, I'm going to go drive around because I want to go see some landmarks, because you know me, I got to find some roadside attractions, some haunted things, some spooky places, whatever it might be. So I drove a little bit less than 55 minutes or so up to Crown Point, Indiana. Crown Point, Indiana is just south of Chicago. So it's very close to the Illinois border, but it's still in Indiana. So I went to Crown Point because that's where John Dillinger was held by the sheriffs in the jail right there, and he escaped. And I put the article up on my Facebook page, and he escaped from that jail. It's the only jail he ever escaped from, by creating a little wooden gun and fooled the guards to let him out. And he took off, and he actually stole the sheriff's car, which was even better. So he took off with that, and that's where that happened. It was cool to stand on the stairs right where that happened at, and kind of go see that place. And it's kind of neat to do that kind of thing. So I saw that and I was like, that was pretty cool to go see that town. If you ever been to Crown Point, Indiana, by the way, it's a really cool little town. It's so old looking, and it's just a great looking place. I mean, you could film a lot of movies there. It's so cool. But so I left there and I went up a little bit further up to this Reeder Road thing. And I saw this online and I thought, I need to go see what this is out there. This Reeder Road uh, in Griffith, Indiana. It's a small, like, kind of desolate road. Nobody's on it anymore. But that road in Griffith um, was used as a mob where they would dump bodies. They would bury people over there and dump bodies there back in the 20s and 30s. And it was a notorious area. So I took a picture of that. If you look at my thing, you'll see a picture of that thing. And they said it was just absolutely a very notorious area. And it was really just sort of a road in the middle of nowhere. And sort of you go drive back. I drove back as far as I could. And it kind of made like a U-turn back in there. So it's like, I'm sure they went back a little bit further to drop these bodies and stuff over there. So kind of a cool thing. Got Dillinger. Now we got gangsters out there. So that was kind of a neat thing to see out there. And then I came back towards town, and over by where the Jasper County Fairgrounds is, I went to this Moody Road at Meridian Road. Now, I looked this thing up and it's pretty cool because Old Man Moody, way back, was a farmer. And apparently his son had been abducted by somebody. And so he was out looking for his son, and really a sad, tragic story. And he finally finds the boy's body, been beheaded. It's just awful. So he's out there looking. Well, he got so distraught, he hung himself. And everybody said that on this Moody Drive or Moody Road, you see out there, you'll look if you look at my pictures, Moody Road, at the very end of the road, way out there, sometimes people at night will see a light. And the rumor is that's Old Man Moody looking for his child. And it's like, holy cats, who knew it was right there? But I mentioned it in class. And a couple people say, oh, yeah, we've heard about that before. Is that around here? I'm like, yeah, it's not far. It's not far from here. So go check it out right to see if you see a light or whatever you might see out there. So that was kind of a cool little thing to do with that. I mean, I was kind of like, I like to go see these weird locations and unusual landmarks and things like that. And then I came back to the hotel that Jill found for me, which was the Springfield Suites and Inn and Suites. But that hotel is connected to a really famous farm up there, Fair Oaks Farms, which makes that Fair Oaks milk you see in the store all the time in those other weird containers. They make cheese, they make all kinds of things out there. But it's like where they have a big, huge, they have restaurant and hotel and museum, and you can go learn about animals and all this stuff. It's a really big place. Beautiful, beautiful buildings and stuff. I mean, absolutely crazy. And what is it? The Springfield, no, Fairfield Inn and Suites. Hello, hi, Fairfield Inn and Suites. The rooms were so big, I couldn't believe it. I mean, when I was in there, I was like, okay, this is way bigger than I thought. And the place was just absolutely beautiful. The lobby was great. And it's attached to the restaurant for the Fair Oaks Farms restaurant, which is a really beautiful restaurant over there. And it had an ice cream parlor and it had all kinds of stuff. And of course, I went over to check out the gift shop and bought some little gift things for Jill, and thought it was pretty cool to see that kind of thing. And really a interesting place because it's in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's like nothing around it except this humongous Fair Oaks Farms place. It's like an entertainment area. Clearly, they have big bus parking and all these things. So I'm assuming they get a lot of tourists up in that area. So, which is really cool to see that kind of stuff. I didn't get any ice cream. It was one of those things. I wanted to, but I thought, nah, I better not. And it was just such a cool place up there. But the hotel itself, super nice, super nice. And if you know me, you know what this means. It means it's time for
Splish splash, I was taking a bath. Long about a Saturday night.
So the room was huge. I mean, the room was absolutely huge, and the shower was absolutely huge. It was bigger than this office I'm sitting in. It was just so big. I was like, my God, the shower in the bathroom you could fit 10 people in that bathroom. I'm like, it was just so big. So I went in, I turned the shower on just to see, because you know how I get. And so I turned it on, and it had low pressure, and it seemed like it was that soft water stuff, which is really nasty because it makes you feel slimy. So it's like, oh yeah, yeah. So I said, let me change the shower head like I normally do. So I changed the shower head, put mine on, and it had a little bit more sparky to it, but it was a little bit of that soft water stuff, which is kind of weird. But all in all, the shower was fine. It was very hot water pressure a little low. But thankfully that the fine folks who make that shower thing that I bring with me worked well on that. So that made it kind of a nice thing. So that was my Doug's totally unnecessary hotel shower review. So there you go. That's another one.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath.
Okay, so that was kind of a fun little thing right there. So this was my last time going up to Indiana for a while, and it was just such a great time to go up there and kind of check out everything and see what's going on. One quick thing is, on my way up there, I had to take the 65 going up through Kentucky and stuff like that. And there's a huge Buc-ee's up there. And you know me, we like our Buc-ee's. In fact, they're building one not far from my house, which is going to be great when it opens sometime, years from now, who knows. But I stopped at the Buc-ee's up there in Kentucky and went in, and I thought, last year they had these Halloween mug things, and they went so fast I never could get one. And I was like, damn. So I went in, and as soon as I went in, they had a huge display of back to school stuff. And I'm like, you know, I don't really need that. So as I'm walking around the store, I go behind the display of back to school, and oh my goodness, guess what it was? It was the Halloween stuff. So guess what old Doug did? I bought two things of these mugs, of these things. I'll put a picture of them up in a second here, and you'll see those. So happy to have those. Jill's been using them, so it's like it's such a nice thing. Because if you know me, you know I love Halloween. I mean, for God's sakes, if you look right there, there's my witch on a broom with a pumpkin and a cat. So I love that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a cool thing that we got that. And I was just, I wanted to make this last trip up there, make it memorable and find something good and cool up there. So we found a lot of cool things. So again, I thank Indiana State 901 board, Laurel and Jeff and everybody up there for bringing me up. Hopefully we can do something else again in a year or so. And Vicky for bringing in her digital stuff. And we had such a fun time with all 10 classes. You know, something unusual happened on every single class, because I found out the first day we started teaching the class, they were telling me that the people that own this community center give them a list of all the things they have to do when we leave for the day. And I'm like, holy cow. It was like mop the floors, put everything away, clean all the tables. I'm like, wow, they did not have janitor staff to do this thing? But I said, all right. So the last day we were there, we were getting ready to leave. I just finished the class. Everybody's coming up by getting our legacy bracelets and things like that. And I'm talking to a lot of people about the class up there in front. And somebody said, "Hey, Doug, would you like us to help you put some of these tables away?" And I said, "Well, I can't order you to do that, but if you really want to do it, that'd be great." And oh my gosh, these Indiana folks went and started putting all the chairs away and all tables away. So basically, all had to be done was had to be swept and mopped and the trash taken out, which I helped them with the trash taken out. And I wanted to get on the road and get out of there because it was a 6-hour drive home. So which was, you know, just what it is. And it was kind of a great time. And I've got a couple more things scheduled up next month. I'll be driving a lot of stuff out there. So I'll be back again telling you about our traveling with SHOWCO. I'm so glad that you're out here. If you go to YouTube, you can actually like us, then hit the bell, and you'll get notified every time I put up a new one, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of neat out there. So tell your friends, tell other people about it. If you've got any ideas about what I should check out when I travel around, please let me know. Send me some pics. Tell me what's going on with that stuff. And we'll be glad to put them up there and maybe even bring you on here someday and say, hey, tell us about this experience you went over there. Tell us about that experience. So if you've got a good story about some kind of roadside attraction or something, let us know. That's a pretty easy thing to do. So other than that, I don't have nothing else left, but I really appreciate everybody listening and paying attention out there. It's such a great time. I love to have fun with you guys, and I hope that you're having fun with me on this thing. And please go check us out on Instagram and Facebook, and so it's all over the place. And YouTube's got all the videos posted up there. And if you hit the little bell, that means you'll be notified every time I put up a new one out there. So other than that, until next time, everybody, go make it a great day, because you know I will.
Thanks for watching Traveling with SHOWCO.